Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7. Live on hot7025fm.com.
Hey, it's Icarice, and I'm here to tell you about Hotcast for Podcasting. We are a podcasting studio located in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the Hot 702.5 FM studios. You can book online at hot7025fm.com. Just click on Hotcast. You can book and find your times right there. Thank you for booking with Hotcast for Podcasting.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Sci-Fi Center. It's your Vegas home for science fiction, horror, and fantasy. From comic books, toys, and posters to movie screenings and live events, they've got you covered. Located at 900 Cameron Avenue, Suite B209, give them a call, 702-900-4335, or reach them at thescificenter.com.
Hi. Hey.
What's up? All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars. On hot7025fm.com.
It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood. And are you looking for the perfect drink? Well, you found it. Mimosa Royale is the perfect combination of California sparkling white wine and natural juice that is both tasty and refreshing. No artificial colors or flavors, no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. As the world's first ready-to-drink mimosa, Mimosa Royale is perfect for any occasion, day or night. You no longer have to drink 12 of those seltzers just to get that perfect buzz. At 8% alcohol, Mimosa Royale is the perfect drink to party with. Offered in a variety of flavors and sizes, you are bound to find a Mimosa Royale that you'll love. We have berry, mango, apple, and orange, with more flavors to come. Mimosa Royale is the most award-winning flavored wine that serves in bottles or cans. You can find them online at drinkmimosa.com or find them at your local liquor store. Ask for it by name. Mimosa Royale.
You know what it is, baby. It's hump day. That means it's time to holla at the homie. And I'm the homie. I'm 360 the poet. That's THAPOET. Make sure you spell it right because it means something. And that means tenacity, heart, and attitude presents opportunities every time. What's up, Abundance Tula? Sweet P in the building. What's going on? One of my daughters is on there live with me. But, today we got another subject that, touches a little close to home for a lot of people out there. And sometimes it may not hit as close to home as you think. But and then again, it may be right behind your next door neighbor's door and you be unaware of it. So as always, I'd like to give my disclaimer. You are reaching the number one spot online or in person for advice. Now, I never tell people what to do. I just give them options of what can be done. Me, along with my fellow online colleagues, a.k.a. the homies out there. The homies always coming through trying to, and they're helping me out, giving good answers, giving good feedback. Because again, with me being 360, yes, I am a full circle, but that means I'm getting it somewhere else from other folks that help me get it in where I can fit it in. So I always like to say that I've never been trained in any way, shape, form, or fashion in any type of psychology, psychiatry. I took a psychology class freshman year, Psychology 101, but that's 100 years ago, so I think that probably is gone out of my brain by now. But I have been able to live a very colorful life, and in that colorful life, I've been able to soak up some game, which allows me to squeeze that I've sponged up right back out here to y'all over the airwaves. So that's how we do it each and every week. So big shout out to who's that? Alton Walker for my shirt. That's God Ain't Pleased. I got that one during the Kev on Stage Back Pew Tour. Alton Walker, one of those good old comedians that come and make you ha ha he he. But I wore it today because it's a lot of things, some things inside of me God ain't pleased with it, some things inside this letter God ain't pleased with it, some things in this world God may not be pleased with, but we got to keep on pushing and try to figure out a way to make sure that happens in the long run. So here we go. We're going to do what we do like we always do at this time. I go for mine. I chose to shine. Now throw your hands up. I'm sorry, my bad. I was singing some of that old school Kanye. But here we go. Dear Holla at the Homie. I'm writing you because I'm stuck between desire and guilt and confusion, and I don't know who else to turn to. For the past year, my husband and I have been ... distant. We're still friendly, still partners in many ways, but the physical side of our relationship is non-existent. No touching, no kissing, no intimacy, just cold silence where there used to be heat. At first, I thought it was stress, work, life, maybe even age catching up. I tried to talk to him about it gently, but he brushed it off, said everything was fine, that I was, quote unquote, overthinking it, but you can't, quote unquote, overthink an empty bed night after night. So one night, I vetted to my girlfriends over wine. It started as jokes and sympathy, but it ended, well, very differently. One thing led to another, and the four of us crossed a line that I never expected to. It wasn't just curiosity, it was passionate, it was freeing, it was honest, and the most desired I've felt in years. Now here's the problem. I don't feel regret. I feel alive, but I also feel like I've betrayed my marriage. I haven't told my husband because I don't even know how to begin. I don't want to invite him into this experience. I don't want a threesome or to, quote unquote, open up our marriage. This was for me, and that's in capital letters. But part of me wants to feel that again, and that means facing the truth about what I need and want and what I did. So, homie, do I tell my husband what happened at the risk of blowing up our marriage, even if it might already be emotionally over? Or do I keep this secret and quietly explore this new side of myself on my own terms? Signed, Awakened but Torn. What's up, Al Rich? What's up, Aunt Earlette? Oh, wow. Awakened but torn. Now that's a way to describe yourself first and foremost. Let's start there. You have awakened something inside of you and you are torn between whether or not that's how you want to keep things going. So let's break down this letter in the way that the best way we can for those who just catching up like mustard. Got a young lady here, says she's been married, but the heat in the bedroom at home is turned down a notch. And so like she was, she tried to ask her husband, let's crank it up a little bit. And he's like, you overthinking it. It's nothing like that. What's up, Lucy Lowe? He's saying it's nothing like that. So after he was able to, she asked him, the way she described as gently, and he brushed her off. What's up, Ray Butler? Then she, decided to vent to her girlfriends. And she said that she was hanging out with her girls. It was 4 of them. What's up, Salik? And out of nowhere, boom, boom, pow. Next thing you know, they in the mix. And she said, I'm going to quote her. She said, it was passionate, it was freeing, and honestly, the most desired I've felt in years. Woo! See, now that's saying something. That right there. What's up, Story of Rory? That's saying something right there. The fact that she said it was the most desired she had felt in years. And it wasn't even at home in her own home bed. And it wasn't with somebody that you would typically think somebody would step out with. She was with her girls or a group of friends that are female, and they were venting over wine and stuff like that. Next thing you know, one thing led to another, and now she feels like her experience was not only passionate, it was freeing and the most desired she's felt in years. Those are her words. These aren't my words. These are her words. So like I said, we got a letter from somebody, and she calls herself Awakened but Torn. And this letter is layered. It's layered with, it's a spiritual awakening. You got to think of it as like an emotional detachment. It's a sexual liberation. And the thing about it is you got to do all that while weighing a whole ass marriage on the other side. She wasn't with Lucy Lowe. She wasn't just with someone else. She was venting to her girlfriends, and they out of nowhere, it kicked off. So like, what she's saying is like her and her husband have been friendly, but they've been cold, right? So it means like there's no sex, no intimacy, no I want you. And to be honest, that'll do something to a person. That'll make somebody feel a certain type of way, whether they feel it's them, they feel it's you, they feel it's the totality of the relationship. If you don't have any kindling on the fire per se, nothing still burning, no ember still aflame on the fire, it can make you feel as if this relationship is cold, or the fact that it may be somebody's fault that it's not the way it used to be, especially if you started off, passionate. And if you started off in a situation where like this was never in question, for it to be questioned now, like she said in her letter, she said, at first I thought it was stress or work life or maybe even age catching up. And she said, I tried to talk to him about it gently, but he brushed it off and said everything was fine. So in her mind, now she's probably calculating if everything is fine with him, but it's not fine with me, and he's not seeing that it's not fine with me, then maybe it's something not fine with us. That's my assumption of what her feelings were in regards to what was going on, especially like when it drags on for months and a year and, no effort or no explanation. The thing about it is it's the no explanation from the other side, which is causing her to feel isolated and feel invisible. What's up, D Wills? Is making her feel invisible because there's no explanation coming from her husband's side of things. If he said like, babe, I'm stressed out, or babe, age is catching up, or babe, my health ain't the greatest, or he could say anything to her, but without any explanation. What I've learned by living with women my entire life and being married to a woman and having female children, like, if you don't tell a woman something, she's going to create whatever it is in her mind that seems the most likely to be occurring. If you don't tell her something, you have to give her at least a couple breadcrumbs of something. So to the husband of the person that calls herself awakened but torn, if you on here, you got to give her a breadcrumb or something, dog. You got to give her something, like at least a niblet to say like, like, hey, babe, like, my back is messed up. Say something. You can't just be out here like, no, it's all good, baby, it's all good. But you ain't kissed her. You ain't pinched her booty. You ain't bit her nipples. You ain't beat them cheeks. You ain't did nothing. You ain't put your nose on her clit. You ain't did nothing to this woman in a while, is what she says. And so, like, if you're not at least explaining to her something why none of that is occurring, then she's going to create her own scenario in her mind. This is what I have learned through experience of living with women my entire life. And it don't have to be with a partner. It can be anywhere. You say, I agree, because she'll end up thinking it's her. And that's coming from a woman. A woman, thank you, Celie. She said that she agrees because she'll end up thinking that she is the problem, that she is the reason, that it's her that you're not attracted to in that way. So in essence, she feels invisible to you romantically, intimately, in any type of way. You understand what I'm saying? Like, what's going on, DJ? But you say, focus on yourself, queen. He don't want you. That's coming from one of the brothers. One of the brothers out there said, focus on yourself, queen. That's Al Rich. He said he don't want you. And again, it could be that, Al Rich. It could be a plethora of other things. He may have had his own experience somewhere else too. So it may not even be the fact that he don't want you. He may not just want that anymore. You know what I mean? So like that, this is you got to kind of flip this and see both sides of the coin, because again, I'm gonna be on both. I'm gonna be angel's advocate, devil's advocate. I'm gonna be on both shoulders, right? So like, if in the fact that it's feeling cold, she said, because she made it a point to say, "What's up, Tosh?" She made it a point to say that they were still friendly. She said, but she's confused. She said they've been friendly, but they've been distant. What's going on, Julius Foley, best realtor in the South? So she said that they've been friendly, but they've been distant. And that's a cold feeling, to be sharing a bed with somebody, but feel like you are distant from it. You say a woman shouldn't have to tell a man what to do sexually. It's he said it's our nature when we want it. And again, Al, that is one side of the coin. That is one side of the coin. What's up, Dakari? What's going on, Jazzy Pruitt? That is one side of the coin, right? So you got to look at it like this, though. What if he's feeling as if he's undesirable? He may be feeling like she don't want to rock with him. So as a man, if you feeling like somebody ain't feeling you, your performance ain't going to be everything you want it to be because you're going to be thinking too much. And you're going to be thinking too much. What's going on, Omega Personal Productions? You're going to be thinking too much. And if you're thinking too much, then that's going to take away from your natural, when I get that feeling, I need sexual healing. Because you're thinking, you in your head. You in one head, now the other head don't know what to think because there's too many thoughts in the big head. So again, it could be either side of the coin. So, but I do appreciate your input on that, Al, because these are things that she may need to hear coming from a man. She may need to see these things coming from a man, hear these things coming from a man, and that may be more confirmation for her to do what her next move is, because her question to us is, to the homies is, do I tell my husband what happened and risk blowing up our marriage even if it might already emotionally be over, or do I keep this secret and quietly explore this new side of myself on my own terms? You know what I mean? So, woo, and that is a real question. And what you say, Jasmine Pruitt? So how would you work on that? Well, work on what? Because it may have been something I said a little bit while ago, Jazzy. Tell me exactly what you're talking about, and I'll tell you how I will work on that. Would you say, I see your point. Your mind control a lot of things, and it does. This is your computer. This is your CPU. Inside, between these ears, between your shoulders is your CPU, right? Your central processing unit. It has so many different jobs it has to perform, and it causes your performances in every one of them to be good, bad, or indifferent. So in the event that this woman is feeling emotionally detached, but yet now she's feeling awakened by something that has transpired outside of her marital bed, now that's where we reach the pickle. She says that it's been no intimacy. She said that he don't even, say I want you, or like not even show her anything. They don't have any beef between them, but he's not giving her any beef either. So that's where the problem, that's where she's confused. Her first word she said she's stuck between desire, guilt, and confusion. What up, get some? So she's stuck between those three things, between desire, between guilt, and between confusion, because she said this was the most wanted she's felt, the most desired she's felt in years. In years. Desire is a big word. Like, you can look at somebody and tell if they want you. You know what I mean? You can be like, ooh, I can tell by the look in your eyes. If we was by ourselves, you'd eat me up, or I'd eat you up. You can tell by the look in my eye. You can tell by the look sometimes. You can tell by the things, how people interact with you, if they desire being around you, meaning, does being around you give them a feeling of butterflies? Does being around you give a warmth to their loins? Does being around you make you want to be around them more? That's desire. When you desire to be around somebody, it's because you want to be there more often than not. If you desire somebody's sexual activities, it's because you want to have sex with them more often than not. So to be desired and to be loved are two different things. You say, what's going on exactly, Dakari? So like I said before, this young lady she came in, she wrote us a letter. She said that her husband ain't been intimate with her. They ain't been nothing for a little bit of time. She went and had some wine with her girls. Next thing you know, her and her girls started getting it in, and now she's opened up and awakened the side of her that she never knew existed, and she don't want to tell her husband for a couple of reasons, because she don't want to blow up the relationship they think they still might having going on. She don't want him to think that he can become a part of this relationship, and she don't want, So, like, she tried to talk to him. She was gentle. She showed up, but he shut it down, talking about, you're overthinking it. He said, you're overthinking it. Everything is okay. She asked him these questions. You can be married and still feel invisible. You can be with somebody, live with somebody, and still feel invisible. Because if your person you with doesn't look at you and they just look through you, you say, how would I handle that, making my partner feel desirable after they made you feel some type of way? Then it starts with a conversation, Jazzy. It has to start with a conversation, because if I'm assuming that they feel that way and I don't know for sure, then that's where the problem runs. When you assume, I make an ass out of you and me. If I assume. So I have to sit down and talk to you, and sometimes the most intimate conversations are not the easiest ones. Even though it could be between somebody that you with and see every day and they love your snake and draws, you love theirs. Sometimes those conversations are not the easiest ones to have. So with that being said, you have to start with that conversation to see where to begin to get that intimacy back amongst one another. Exactly. Conversation is the key. You have to find out where each other's starting point is. You say desired by another woman. What are you talking about, Dakari? Give me more better sentences. You know what I mean? So like, it's not it's not the fact that she has felt anything different for her husband. She just has not felt desired by him at all. So now she felt like this was the most desired that she has felt in years, meaning somebody that wanted to be in her presence for that particular purpose. Would you say, exactly? It is better to have that conversation than to file them papers, because when you sign them papers, that's an expensive conversation right there. Them papers gonna cost everybody something, and your nose better be clean, because if your nose is the dirtiest, then it's gonna cost you the most. So it's better to have that conversation before you sign them papers. That's an excellent point there, Tasha Abdul Rahman. You must have this conversation first. So that's what I'm leaning towards telling this young woman, that Miss Awakened but Torn. I'm leading towards you have to have this conversation at some point, you know, but first you got to get through what you're feeling first. So what you're feeling is that you've been gaslighted 101. You feeling like you've been gaslighted, and the fact that you know, he said that you're overthinking, but you can't overthink starvation. If you hungry, you can't overthink the fact that you're hungry. You can try to downplay it, but you can't overthink starvation. A person knows when they're touch deprived. A person knows, you know, would you say that part with another woman? And again, I don't think it's more about it being with another woman, Dakari. I think it's just the fact that she finally felt seen by somebody in that way. By somebody who she felt comfortable enough discussing some things with. So, you know, when you able to talk to certain people about certain things, the intimacy of your conversation can get as deep as it possibly needs to be. You know, like you can cry with your real friends, but you wouldn't just do that in front of everybody. You can vent and give your real feelings to the people who you rock with, but you just won't do that with everybody. So for her to be able to do that with somebody similar, you know, the same way she might be able to do with her husband, and then they still see her in that way, you know, it could have started off with something like, y'all, I just want to feel sexy again. And all they little light bulbs, would you say, be transparent and let them know what's going to happen. It's going to be a hard conversation, but it must happen. That's true. That's right, Al Rich. It's going to be a hard conversation. Would you say, you cutting your hair tomorrow? Because we're going to look exactly alike. If you cut your hair tomorrow, we're going to be twins. I promise you, because we look a lot alike. If I'd have had locks, we'd have looked like twins in the first place, cousin. If you cut your hair tomorrow, send me a picture, because we're going to look just like your daddy. My uncle. I promise you, we are going to look like triplets. But, and that's the thing. Like, if you felt gaslighted in this conversation, Miss Awakened but Torn, you have to be able to combat that, you know, not in a, when I say combat, I don't mean to say like in a combative type way. I mean, you have to have something to counter that with as in the regards of conversation, you know, and it hurts deeper than people realize when you feel invisible to the person that you love, to the person that you thinks and you feel loves you. It hurts to feel invisible to that person. If you don't think they see you, if you don't think that they got the moves, or that they got, you know, that they don't have you're not desired by them, that's a painful feeling, right? You know, so she leans to her girl. She pours some wine. And like I said, she probably said something like, y'all, I just want to feel sexy again. And the convo turns into a whole experience. The convo turns into a whole experience of full-on sexual debauchery. These are, again, her words, not mine, right? You know? But also, I salute it. I'm here for it that you were able to open up and able to experience what it was and feel and absorb that desire, because it feels as if you got what you were missing in some regard, the mental side of it. The physical, we'll talk about that in a minute. But the mental side of it, it looks as if one of the boxes that you was empty has been checked for you to be desired by somebody. You know, so big props to you for exploring. If it took exploration for you to get that, again, I'm never here to tell nobody what to do. I'm just here to tell people options of what can be done. Would you say she's going to see the other side? Feeling desired is leading to desperation, which leads to divorce. And that is a possibility. After that conversation, it might be. She might have a husband and be like, damn, I didn't even know I was missing out on the mark so much. I didn't know I was missing the mark so much. You know, I didn't know that you didn't feel desired by me in that way. Again, after the conversation is had, you have to have the conversation because you'll never know where each other's starting and stopping points are or where we feel like our benchmarks are. Like as a husband, he may be feeling like he's filling those blanks in for her. But she may be like, nah, just because you rub your crusty ass feet on me while we watching the TV show don't mean that we intimate. You know? Just because you slap me on my booty once every 2 weeks don't mean that we intimate. She may be going through it in her head like, damn, this man don't even fool with me like that anymore. Does he have another woman? Does he have another man? She may be having all these thoughts in her head as well. But in order to find out whose thoughts are where, y'all must have that conversation. And again, like the card says, she may see the other side or feeling desire leads to feeling desperation, which may lead to divorce. That may be one side of it. But then on the other side of it, like Al Rich said, you know, be transparent. Let him know what you need, what happened, and where you are with it. It's going to be a rough conversation, but y'all may be able to get through it. These are all options, and I appreciate all the online homies for tapping in as well. You know, because we got women on here saying, like, if you don't talk to them, that they going to believe it's them. Got some saying that conversation is the key to be able to unlock any type of doors that have been closed in your relationship. You know, but here's the thing. She's not feeling guilty about what she did. That's what you got to understand. She's feeling more like alive. She's feeling desired. What's going on, Mrs. Contreras? So she's feeling reconnected to something that was tangibly real to her. So in that regard, that may have now whether that was a new her that opened up and she's going in that direction, or maybe it was just the simple fact that in that moment, what she was missing was filled in. That blank was filled in. And any man, any woman, anybody, any human being with feelings is going to be a hard pill to swallow if you ask somebody, why did you do X, Y, and Z? And they simply says, because you neglected or failed to give me or make me feel that way. You know what I'm saying? So what's going on, CM's Vibes? That's the thing. Like, you didn't make me feel that way, so this person did. Like, a lot of people were mad at my homeboy Taylor on Love Island, right? All my Love Islanders out there. A lot of people were mad at Taylor when he got with old Clark, right? And he flat out said, well, she gave me a feeling that Olandria ain't giving. So you can't fault him for it. It was something that he felt. So this is something that this woman, awakened but torn, felt. She got something that was missing from her. Now, as husbands or as wives or as significant others, if we aren't supplying somebody with something that they have asked us to supply them with, she said she talked to him gently even. Because you said don't start with Taylor. I know. I knew somebody was going to say something about my Love Island. I think it's just an excuse. If you're not happy, then it's time to let go. And again, that's coming from a woman. That's coming from a lovely young lady, Mrs. Contreras, my dog, and that is one way to look at it. Because what she said in the letter was, she said, At first I thought it was stress. She said, I asked him gently, but he brushed it off, said everything was fine, that I was overthinking it, but you can't overthink an empty bed night after night. So this ain't something that Sarah Lynch was there for the girl. and I get it. She wanted to be there with the homegirls. But that's the thing. It could be time for her to go, but she had to find out if she could cross this line in some way. You say, was it too gentle of a talk? Maybe get a little more direct, sis. Oh, and that's coming from a woman too. She said, was it too gentle of a talk? Maybe you should have got a little more direct with the conversation, and not worry so much about that male ego that I talk about on here all the time. That male ego is fragile. That's a Fabergé egg. What'd you say to Car? My question is, has she tried lingerie? Has she visually shown him what was missing after a long day of work and coming home? I don't know. That I don't know. Again, sometimes I'm gonna tell you straight up, Dakari. Sometimes if somebody ain't feeling desired, they're not gonna have the inclination to even want to do that. If somebody think that somebody don't want them in a relationship, they're not about to set themselves up for failure like that. So some people will go resort to conversation. Some people like to use words. Everybody don't get the picture. Like Lil Wayne said, one of my favorite lines one time, people don't get the picture till the flash is on. Until somebody flash out and do something. What'd you say earlier? Again, talk to him and her say, let's take a moment to make a moment. And there it is again. You got to take a moment to make a moment. That's all it takes. And again, she may have shown this lingerie thing. She didn't put all that in the letter. All she said was, that it's been a while where there used to be fire, there isn't fire anymore. And it's been a minute since that occurred. But you say no guilt is wild. Feelings don't give you the right to betray another. Oh, and somebody even put the thumbs up on that. But that's the truth. I feel you on that, Tosh. I do feel you on that because that was a part of it that, what's going on in Greater Seven Thoughts. That is a kind of part of it that put some of my notes into perspective. Like, I know you feel alive. I know you feel desired and all that kind of stuff, but you got to have some drawback. Because if you don't, then that's more along the lines like Dakari was saying. That's leading down that road, or Mrs. Contreras was saying, that's leading down that road to where she don't want to be there no more. Nobody wants to be here. What'd you say, Al Rich? Has she tried to ignite the fire herself, or is she just sitting back to see what he does? That's another question. Would you say, or just step up and show him what you need? Those two came across on two different sites at the same time. Tasha said, step up and show him what you need, girlfriend. And Al said, are you just sitting back waiting to see what he do? Or are you actually putting your foot forward? Because sometimes words don't give you the picture that you're looking for. Like Dakari said, did you try lingerie? These are all options. Before you decide to blow up this relationship, try to put forth a little effort in all directions. Because what I think and what you're doing right now, because the fact that you said that you don't really feel guilty about it and that, you don't know if you want to re-explore this again, I think it's one of those like, how people get high for the first time? You know how people, the first time you smoke weed, right? First time you, sometimes people fall asleep. Okay, put it like this. You ever seen on TV when people do heroin and they get high? The first time they get high off them heavy, hard drugs, now they searching for that same high again. That's why they call them chasers. Chasers. Would you say it's tough to manage your time, all your responsibilities and your interests? But if the values in a relationship, you can at least talk about the situation and make a decision. If you're dishonest or deceptive, that's a felony. I feel you. That is felonious in your relationship. Everybody's saying the same thing to you pretty much out here, Miss Awakened but Torn. You got to step up and speak up. These are two things that have to occur. You got to step up and speak up, meaning step up your game. Oh, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. I'm part of the Covalis crew now. But you got to step up and speak up. You got to speak up on the situation because what it's allowing you to do right now is kind of sit in the shadows. And while you're sitting in the shadows, this whole thing is festering in your mind and it's building up gunk in your mind and you don't know what to do with it. So you're going to go chase this high again, hopefully to clear your mind again. That may be your situation. But in order for you to get to stop chasing this high, you got to find a way to figure out whether you wanted to be there in the first place or not. Through your conversation with him, or through if you step it up and you come in that thing, you seen on TV, man. You seen on TV people have the trench coat and the heels and nothing else on. Come knock on the door, be like, "Oh, sir, my car just broke down. Can you help me change the tire?" Anything. Try something. You say men are visual. Again, men are visual. We're not the feeling gender. We don't wait. No need to see you sexy. If we want attention, show some skin. That's what I'm saying, Dakari. Dakari says, show some skin for the win. You say, if you don't, then it's all talk and no action. And again, we do think differently. Men and women do think differently, especially in regards to sex. Yes. Yeah, I know everybody looks at the Nature Channel and all this other kind of stuff, right? And they watch mating season. But there's always a mating call of some sort, whether it's the robin, somebody showing their chest, or whether it's somebody showing something to show interest in getting that wang. Somebody got to make a call for that wang, and again, it doesn't have to always be on you, but before you decide to just wave the white flag or throw in the towel, I do look like Doc Arvis looking. I do look just like my uncle. I do, man. Before you get to waving the towel and throwing in the towel, waving the white flag, try something, throw something, get something try something different. If you want different results, you gotta try different tactics. What my auntie earlier said, you gotta take a moment to make a moment. So take some time out your day. What's up, Birdman Comedy? Take some time out your day. Would you say the high heels, the coat, and the lingerie, it works. And that's coming from an old school. Old school. She said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Try that thing out. Get you a coat. You ain't got to have no whole trench coat. Throw on his throw on his shirt. And let it be, I do. and let it hang down past your thigh meat. Because thigh meat is the most attractive meat in the world. I don't even really like thighs on chicken because they too greasy. But thighs on women is the most attractive part of the woman's body. The thigh meat is like, hello, is it me you're looking for? Because it leads to the road to heaven. So show a little thigh meat. And again, it's not all on you. You do want to feel desired as well. And I don't want this to feel like we piling up on you. But I do want you to understand it's okay that you feel liberated. Would you say, I don't need skin, I need interest and effort. There's plenty of skin out there. That's coming, that's a man speaking. So he need effort and interest. So if you into planning dates, and if you know what your man likes, and it's something that you feel like he may be like, oh, and get all warm and fuzzy on the inside, show that effort. Again, there are so many ways to attack this particular subject because everybody's different. So I want you to not just take like, well, such and such said. No, be like, this person said this person said that, and pull from it. Grab a little of this, a little bit of that, take a little bit of this, take a little bit of that, and use it to try to salvage this relationship. Because you said it in your letter. You said you don't want any threesomes. You don't want the polyamorous life. You don't want no let's do it together, that this was a personal thing for you, that you enjoyed. It's just for you. Just for me. You said this. Yeah, I know I always got a song for everything. You said it's just for you. And that's what's got you not wanting oiled up thigh. Ooh, that thigh with a little bit of that little baby oil, that good old shea butter, baby, on some skin. Get you some shea butter. Put some shea butter on your legs and just show your legs and see what your husband do. I don't know. It's so many options. He may not be into you anymore. He may be into you, just don't think you into him. He may not know that he's missing the point. Because again, like a couple of the fellas on here said, men are visual. So another brother said men are, mental. As far as like we cerebral. You got to hit us in the brain sometimes. If you hit us in both heads, if you make both heads jump, you winning. You winning. You give me something smart to think about and something sexy to go with it. Oh, I'm sticky thigh. I'm sticky thigh. What'd you say to Car? You say to the lady writing the letter, if you divorce him, what happens when the next man comes along and the same thing happens? Grass is not green on the other side. Don't fall for the 80-20 scenario. And sometimes you think the grass is greener on the other side, and it's AstroTurf. Let's start there. It's fake. It ain't even real grass on the other side sometimes. Let's start there. And the grass is greener where you water it. So that's watering may come with this conversation. Watering it may come with showing a little more effort. Water may come with sitting back and be like, well, damn, did I really mess up? Or is this really the way I want to go now? That's how you water your grass. That's how it gets green. You know, so again, you asking me, do you tell your husband the truth or do you keep it to yourself to protect your little pocket of peace, right? Or can you maybe revisit this in secret before you decide? You say turf. You know what I mean? Let's break it down, though. You know, I hear you. I do. I hear you and I hear the loneliness and, you know, the way you reached out and got dismissed. And we've all heard it. Everybody on the page today has heard it. How you felt like you were dismissed. The way the silence in your bed started to feel like a verdict on your relationship, right? You know, you didn't step out to get your back blown out. You stepped out, you know, to feel human again. And you found it, you know, not just in sex, but in connection, in energy, in freedom. What's up, Zero F's Giving? Little sis in the building. I got both y'all on here. You and your sister on here. So it's like, you know, you stepped out for, again, you found connection. You found energy. You found a certain sense of freedom. You know, and all of that is understandable to a point. But that still doesn't justify the secrecy. Because you wrote to me. You know what I mean? You wrote to me. So you want to get it out. It's on the tip of your tongue. It's on the tip of your tongue. He's an ankle breaking turf. You know, so you want to get it out. So feel free to, you know, hopefully with us helping you today, that you can find a way to get it out. Because this is what I feel like happens. Like, you know, I'm not here to moralize you and I'm not here to hand out you shoulda, coulda, wouldas, right? But whenever something goes unspoken or a need goes unmet, especially in a marriage, and it turns your marriage or whatever the situation is into a ghost town, just remember, ghosts don't make love to you. They're going to haunt you. These ghosts are going to haunt you. So if you creating this ghost in your relationship, that's not going to make it better. It's just going to haunt your mind. It's going to haunt your vajay. Because, again, women are mental and cerebral, too, when it comes to sex. If they not feeling the dude, you think the river's going to flow the way they supposed to flow? Nah, you're going to get the Sahara. You ain't going to get the Nile. You're going to get the Sahara. If they mentally not there. So if you mentally not going to be there and this is haunting you, even when you go to give your husband some nookie, if he decide to get some, then this in the back of your brain because you ain't spoken about it. You haven't opened up and said a word about it. So get this ghost out of your closet. Let it out. Say it with your whole chest. Be like, babe, let me tell you what the girls did to me. They devoured me. I loved it. And no, you can't join, but let me tell you why I did it. Snatch the Band-Aid straight off. Snatch it off. Just rip it. Rip the Band-Aid off. Because sometimes that makes it hurt a little bit less. Because if you drag it on, it's going to continue to hurt here, continue to hurt there. If you just take that whole Band-Aid and just rip it off, whatever's coming with it is coming with it, but it's gone. It's off. So now we can focus on it. You say, exactly. Give up the ghost. Exactly, Abundance Doula. Give up the ghost. You know, so yes, talk to your husband. And not because he deserves all the details. Talk to him because what happened, unless you share them, because you deserve this alignment in your life. You deserve to be able to feel aligned. Exactly. And ask each, exactly, Auntie earlier, ask each other, what's going on? How did we get here in this arena? Because it says y'all still friends. You said y'all still friendly, like y'all still kick it. Y'all probably got family game night still going on. Probably got certain shows y'all watch together. So y'all still friendly. Y'all just ain't fucking. Basically, Y'all just ain't getting it in. You know, so find out, how did we get here, babe? But you got to be transparent in your thoughts, as far as like, you can't sit back and be like, well, if I leave this out, maybe he'll give me the answer I'm looking for. No. You say, whatever happened after you rip off the bandage off, will you will you give the real answer? Yeah, you will give the real. You'll give the real answer. You're going to give it to you by ripping it off that fast. Like, ask the questions. Ask these questions. You're going to get to the bottom of it. The only way you can get to the bottom of it is by taking off the sugar coating. Take off all the protection of it. You got to raw dog it to get to the bottom of it, to birth this situation's ending. You got to be able to ask, how did we get here? And again, I'm not saying going there confessing like a criminal, putting a big bright light over your head and, you know what I mean, anything like that. But you do owe yourself the freedom that comes with the honesty. Would you say, start small, have a date night, meet up at a bar, flirt with your husband, put a wig on, high heels, and go start. And that's, again, these are all excellent advisory comments. All different ways. And these are coming from men who may have appreciated these things. Like, you know, I'm going to stop. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to give away all the secrets of what's going on in the world. But like, it's men that really do like to talk about these things, about what they would desire from their women. So like, same way y'all had y'all girlfriend circle, y'all was over wine. I'm pretty sure if you had this conversation with your man, then he would be talking to some of his homies, be like, hey, man, my lady say we don't really, you know what I mean? Like, y'all know how it be sometimes, da-da-da. And then someone be like, no, I don't. No, or should I give my woman the D every week? Or, you know what I mean? Like, I got to get mine. Or someone be like, yeah, sometimes I don't remember the last time I did it. But if you don't have these conversations, then it won't open up the doors to other beginnings of conversations. So the honesty, the freedom from the honesty is what you're going to feel the most. When you open up and be honest with your husband about what transpired, again, especially since you ain't got no more D in your life. Ain't like somebody, yeah, he may be like, what you mean you messing with a woman? But at least you ain't laid up with another man. And true enough, it's all still infidelity. I'm just saying, like, men are visual, so we go and picture pictures in our mind. What's going on, Nicole _56, best neighbor in the world? You know what I'm saying? Like, men are going to picture and visualize certain things. Just like how women create scenarios in their head, men draw pictures of what we think it looked like. So if that doesn't help you in this scenario, be like, well, damn, are you missing it that bad that you let somebody else, you know what I mean, eat it the why? Whatever the case may be. Yeah, some of y'all went over some of y'all head. But, you know, but you're not wrong for wanting more. You're not dirty for finding it at an unexpected place. These are some things I want you to understand. And you're definitely not alone in feeling the way you feel. Sometimes you may be in more common area than you think. But by having, like you said, you had the conversation with your girls, and they probably was talking about, girl, my man ain't gave me none either. So you know what? We gonna fix them. I don't know how the conversation. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall, you know, just to kind of be a fly on the wall, but just to hear how that transpired, how it occurred. But the main thing I want you to do is to be real with yourself. You got to ask yourself, look straight in the mirror and be like, do you want to fix what's broken? Or are you finally admitting that you have outgrown this picture completely? Now, you know, do you think your discovery has led you to believe that you have outgrown this relationship? Or maybe some of the things that have been said on here today helped you understand, like, maybe you didn't do all the things that you could have done to figure out whether or not that he is in that position or he does feel that way about you. Because again, a lot of times men are oblivious. We just be clueless. Y'all think the movie Clueless was about y'all. It was just about y'all not understanding certain things. We be clueless about everything. Really, we do. We think about what we think about, and the stuff that we don't normally think about, it's not that we don't care about it. It's just we not thinking about it. So if you put it on his mind, yeah, I know you said that you tried to talk to him gently, but like Abundance Doula said, maybe the conversation don't need to be as gentle. It may to be a little bit more direct, sis. That's what she told you. She said, be a little bit more direct to the point. Get to the point. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the point? And once you realize what that is, then maybe you'll have a better picture of where, again, like I said, without that conversation, you don't know where each other's starting and stopping point is. You don't know where he feels like he's stopped at in regards to that, and you don't know where you're starting at to move in a different direction without finding out where you stopped at in the first place. Where did it end? Find that out. That's where the conversation should begin. You know, and if you be like, you know, babe, let's talking about this. And that can lead you into your confession. Okay, so you're not really torn. You're just transforming mentally. The only question is, do you want to take your old life with you into this new chapter, or do you want to finally lay it to rest? Now, either way, I'm rooting for you, and I'm rooting for truth, always. So that's about all we got for today, y'all. Appreciate everybody for tuning in and tapping in with Holla at the Homie. If you got a letter you need to write to me, send it to my email. That's hollaattthehomie@gmail.com. That's HOLLAATTHAHOMIE@gmail.com. Until I breathe in y'all direction again, keep your chin parallel with your path and take care of yourselves and of each other. I'm 360 the Poet. I'm going to holler at y'all in a minute.
Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. High 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot 702.5fm.com.